Hey, it's Mitch Lum here. I just got back from Vegas yesterday. Joshua Dawson and I were at the USN Gathering show selling our flashlights. The Malihini flashlight at the show. It was our first time having a table, and it was super fun. But today I'm not here to talk about flashlights. I'm going to talk about my experience at Exotics Racing, which is, I think, north of Las Vegas. So it's one of these places where you can go. They have a 1.2 mile private track, and you can drive basically any supercar that you want. They have pretty much a stable of all of the best cars. If you've never driven on a track before, I'd say it's a great experience, and you're going to have tons of fun, and the smile's going to take days to wipe off your face. If you have track experience, I think you'll get a lot more out of it, having driven on the track and understanding vehicle dynamics, understanding the line, understanding the turn in, the apex, and the turn out. I had a ton of fun. Yesterday I started out with the NSX because I've only ever seen one of those in real life once. So that was a ton of fun to drive. It felt almost like too easy. Like, I went around the track pretty fast. It was extremely smooth, fairly quiet. Got up in, it had a lot of get up and go, and then it braked quickly. But it almost felt too computerized and disconnected. I didn't have that like sort of visceral track car feel that I even have in my Mini Cooper, which I'm sitting in right now. The second car I drove was the Porsche GT3. That was awesome. That is a street legal track car. And I posted my fastest lap times in that car. And it did have that very connected track car feel where I had that sort of like really visceral feeling as I was out there on the track. Super fun. And then I finished the day with the Ferrari 458 Italia. Also an amazing car. A bit like the NSX in that it's a supercar. It had a lot of comfort. It sounded amazing. Compared to the NSX or the Porsche, it was the best sounding car. And it was just a ton of fun to drive. But, like as a $300,000 car, I think the people who are buying it are not necessarily taking it out to the track. It's a very, very track-worthy car. But I don't think that most of the people that are buying it as a track car, like you might buy the GT3 as a track car. So that one, I bet on the country roads or just driving around, it would be amazing because it sounds great. It has that Ferrari heritage. Could post great lap times, but I think probably the owners of Italias are more for bragging rights than actually getting out on the track and setting fast times. But then I got home and I went for a drive in my Mini Cooper, and you know what? I have to say, smiles per dollar, I still love this Mini Cooper. It's a 2006 R53. I paid about $7,000 for it. Traded some custom knives to buy it. And then have over the couple of years that I've owned it, with some friends who are really great mechanics, upgraded brakes, some engine work, some suspension work. And the feel that I get and the smiles that I get and the connectedness I feel with the car driving, spirited driving, but within the speed limit out here in Oregon is great, right? Like if I was driving some kind of supercar like the NSX or like the Ferrari, if you're driving at the speed limit, it would feel extremely slow. So anyway, I just thought I'd give a little review on my experience at Exotics Racing. Highly, highly recommend it. It's not cheap. I think in the hour I was there, I spent almost $900. And that's basically 3 full track days here at PIR with Hooked on Driving. But where else are you going to get to drive? In that hour, I drove almost $750,000 of cars, did 19 laps, and it was tons of fun. So if you ever have wanted to drive an exotic, or if you have track experience and just want to see what it's like to take one of these really high dollar supercars out on track, highly recommended. It's Exotics Racing. in Las Vegas, Nevada. And then if you don't have track experience but want to get the most out of an experience like exotics racing, I'd highly recommend you check out Hooked on Driving. I think they're here in the Pacific Northwest, but they have other franchises throughout the country. And I really think if you have a full day of track experience with a coach through Hooked on Driving, and you can understand vehicle dynamics, understand the line, all of those things, and then go to something like exotics racing, you'll get a ton more out of it, because some of the folks that were out there on track were just learning how to drive on the track for the first time in a $250,000 car that they were taking around the track, maybe at 40 to 60 miles an hour through the curves that could have been 90-mile-an-hour turns or 80-mile-an-hour turns. There was a Hurricane that in 5 minutes of being out on the track, I think I lapped it twice. So anyway, yeah, if you do want to do it, highly recommended, and even more highly recommended, check out Hooked on Driving in your local area. Take your car out there, learn to drive on the track first, and then when you go to exotics racing in Vegas, you can really get, a lot out of that experience. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I guess net, if I had to for the money, I'd still be driving this R53 Mini Cooper, and shout out to our friend Vince, who both has a Porsche GT4 as well as an R53 Mini Cooper, and he brings the R53 Mini Cooper to the track, not the GT4, and now I kind of understand why, right? There's just your smiles per dollar and the consumables and the feel you get out on the track is just awesome. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this review. Hope it was helpful and interesting. Thanks.